Hello, PC Smoker, back again. Showing off my latest pipe. It's my Savinelli Trevi 616 king size. Saw this on a few videos and I decided I gotta have one. So went to smokingpipes.com and there it is. It really is quite a beauty. And when I first smoked it, all the smoke was nice and hot, but then after the second one, it's nice and cool like the way it is right now. And I like it a lot. The second one I have is motorcycles. First got on a motorcycle as a passenger on a neighbor's cycle. Took me a cruise around town for a few blocks and back. It was like being on a roller coaster. Scary and fun. And that's what got me interested in driving a motorcycle. And when I was in college, I finally decided to take a motorcycle safety course because at the time there was a few people I knew who were in accidents. 2 died when they were thrown off their cycle because usually the result of that would be a torn aorta. That's how they die. And the third one, who I went to school with, she had cuts on her head, and she's doing all right now. Let me take this off right now. So that's what got me started learning how to drive a motorcycle safely. So I went to the local shop in town and told him about their motorcycle safety course, which was held nearby the college I was going to, Eastern Illinois University, and it cost nothing. You just sign up for it and you don't have to pay for it because it's paid for every time we register our vehicles for those little stickers we have to put on license plates. And it consists of a 1-week course, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you learn how to weave, shift gears, brake, all that fun stuff. And one of the interesting things about it is, one, only me and 2 others were the only ones over 21. Everybody else was still in high school. And then one little mishap I had was when I had a dirt bike and I let go of the brake and with the clutch, and the whole thing drove right underneath up my legs and did a wheelie. The cycle's fine. All I do is kill it with the switch, and that was it. And on the 5th day was our examinations, so we get classified as a motorcycle driver. I passed after the first try. A few others had to do it the second time around and passed. So then, a few years later, I finally bought my first motorcycle, which was a Suzuki 1100, and it had a nice fairing on it, which I like very much because it keeps the bugs on the windshield and off your clothes. So I use that more than I did my truck, except if it rains, snows, then I have to drive the truck. And the first trip I ever used on that cycle was up to Chicago. And that was a scary moment. It was a little scary moment when I had to go over the bridge, over the Chicago River, and I had to slow down because I was trying to keep it steady because it was really, the handlebars were really shaking because of the grooves on the bridge. I made it back alright. And then shortly after that I lost my cycle because someone stole it week before Christmas. So a few years went by later until I finally be able to buy myself a second one. And a few layers I lost that when the transmission got all chewed up. And a few years later, I finally bought myself a third one, in which it ran great. And I was able to take my first interstate cycle trip to Indy and back. But then 2 months later, just right after 9/11, we had a little tornado whizzing by through town here. And normally when it's going to be windy and all that, you usually leave a cinder block underneath the cycle. And as soon as I got home, I found out that that toppled over, thanks to that little tornado. So after that, it started developing a short, and I couldn't find out what the problem was. So I just decided to get rid of it because it was costing too much money to try and pinpoint where the problem lay. So I'm hoping that someday soon be able to get my fourth cycle, which I'm hoping will be a gold wing, because that's what I really want very much, is a gold wing. Because it's like the Cadillac of all motorcycles. Of course, now I got cycles that could be called motor tricycles, because they're like ATVs. Only you got the front wheels, like 2 front wheels and 1 back wheel. That was kind of nice, but I prefer to have a gold wing instead. And going back to my last cycle, I had one major accident on that. And it was when I was at a stop sign. It was a 4-way stop. Came to a stop, and then someone rear-ended me and he broke my taillight, and it caused me to let go both of the clutch and the brake and tore open the throttle. And I went through the intersection, and then when I saw this van crossing the intersection, at that moment I went, oh shit, and I started trying to reach for the kill switch, but I was too late. I hit the van, and I spun around once, and during that time my thigh bone made a big dent on the gas tank, and the fork was destroyed as well. The van had a big dent as well, and I was able to walk away from it. But for now on, I have to live with a little souvenir I have right here on my lower leg. That little spot right there. That's what they call in the medical terms a hematoma. And it went away after a few weeks, almost a month. And that's my only major accident so far. Hopefully no more will come later on. At least I hope not. But luckily I was wearing a helmet because it was late October and it's awfully cold, so I had to wear a helmet and keep my head warm. Normally usually I wear helmets if it's cold or if I'm driving out of town. But most of the times I and then when I don't wear a helmet, it's usually when I'm in town and it's hot like it is right now. But I do have to be cautious because there are people who just don't see you driving a cycle, and they sometimes will cross into your lane without even looking. But going back to the helmets, we did have a motorcycle helmet law back in '68, but 2 years later it got repealed because there was a grassroots effort from all the motorcycle drivers that they prefer having their hair blown in the breeze, and they think it's real cool. So right now here in Illinois there is no helmet law, but they are trying to reintroduce it and try to pass it at the General Assembly here in Springfield. Right now it's a matter of choice. If you want to wear a helmet, you can. But then, when I see some passengers on the cycle, they do wear helmets. So, to me, it's just a matter of choice. If you want to wear a helmet, fine. If you don't, it's fine. Just be careful, because anything can happen. Like someone will cross your lane, or you might hear a deer, especially around these parts, because there are some deers that do wander into town sometimes. So hopefully in a few years I'll be on my helmet, smoking my pipe, driving around town somewhere. So that's about it for this blog here. Just keep those home fires burning, and talk to you again sometime down the road. All right.